Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be talking about Cardano's ADA, what's been going on most recently with the price action and what we think is going to happen next. As I get into this, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button, I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, the link is in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7, it's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there, so why not go ahead and check that out. Okay guys, let's make a start with this though. Cardano paired up with USDT on the hourly chart, and Binance is our data source. Now, as you can kind of see, we were expecting this kind of fourth wave movement upwards. I had this mapped out initially at 39.89. And we've gone a little bit above that. That's okay. It's not too unusual sometimes for these things to overextend like this. So it's good to see that it's up here in this kind of range. We kind of hit our expectations, but it can, of course, still go up a little bit more if it needed to. Now, with that being said, it does look like it's a 335 correction with an overextension and a pretty impulsive one in the middle there. Again, driven from the DXY, not from actual real adoption, although Cardano has been making strides with its NFT marketplace as per the last couple of videos that we've been doing about Cardano growing and all that usual kind of stuff. So looking pretty good for Cardano's ecosystem with CNFTs kind of growing quite nicely, and we're seeing a little bit of adoption from that. But essentially, I'm not thinking that we are ready to kind of see a bull run or anything like that. I do think this is actually starting to come on down quite nicely. So let's go ahead and talk about this, okay? If I zoom out just a fraction here, you can kind of see the structure of what we're looking at. Okay, invalidation of this current structure, as I've got it mapped, is at 43.13. Okay, so 43 cents, 0.13. It cannot cross higher than that. It would create an invalidation, and it's not the structure then it would be following. It would just be a giant ABC structure moving down here, which again is also quite a possibility that it's just a zigzag. Okay, and we can kind of keep that in mind. Now, we really are looking for 30.26. And that would be this wave 3, which I think will happen once we have this wave 5 down here. Okay, this is going to trigger this as a bigger 5-wave structure, which will allow us to take a look at the whole thing as a 5, 3, 5, but it will be an impulsive 5. Okay, so we'll then look for 3 up and 5 more down. And if I come to the 4-hour chart and zoom out even further, you'd see that it would be a part of this entire WXY structure. Okay, which basically, if we were to take consideration of everything, would be a giant 3-wave move from the very top, and would basically mark the end of the bull run in my eyes. Okay, unless new structures emerge that shows us that we have to continue going down. Now, that's not to say that we're going to 30 cent. It's to say that it's more likely going to be somewhere between 15.46 and 22.23. But it's good to kind of see that we're getting into these kind of final areas. So let's jump into this recent structure and talk about what's going on here. So it's 335 going up with 5 ending diagonal by the looks of it. Looks like we're in some kind of 3-wave drop to the downside. Okay, so if I come here and just take it as it stands right now and move this over to here, you can see that we're looking at about 36.97. I'm going to put a pin in that one with a label just here. And then remove that. Okay, so it looks like we're dropping down in 3 like this. So A, B, and C like so. Okay, and so looking to kind of move down. Now, that's quite shallow. I would actually be looking and expecting us to have 5 waves down. And so if we only have 3 here, it just means that we're not done with the corrections in this area. And that could be an interesting kind of thing to kind of keep an eye on, because we essentially are looking for this to be 5. Now, it's possible that this does have a big drop as a DXY pumps up again. And that brings us down into a 5-wave structure, which is, again, probably more of what I was expecting, because the 4th wave being up here means that we're looking for 5 waves to come down into the 5th wave. Okay, so for the most part, that's everything that's going on the here and the now. So it'd be interesting to kind of see what happens next. Now, from a momentum point of view, we can see that we are progressing really well to the upside here on the 4-hour chart. Okay, so we'll be overbought very soon, in my opinion. Now, on the 8-hour, We're about midway through, so again, there's still potential in that. And on the 1 hour chart here, you can see that we are oversold. So again, we're looking for some small amounts of volatility. Now, I'm not expecting terribly too much over the weekend, but as I said, 43.13 is the invalidation point of the structure I have mapped out. Doesn't mean that we can't go down into those lows, just means it's not going to be 5 waves that will do it. Okay, so we're going to keep a close eye on that. And for the most part, for Cardano here, it's the daily chart that's the most alarming and concerning, and being so overbought, it's indicating to us that we are going to see a significant drop to the downside. Now, I do want to highlight that those are new lower lows, and recently we had new lower low. Okay, so not the June lows, okay, not even the July lows for Cardano, okay, but we've had down here October lows for Cardano. Okay, so the bottom was not in for Cardano in June. Okay, so just bear that in mind. And that some cryptocurrencies that may not have gone down lower than their June lows at the moment does not protect them from structure, market structure, and what is going on in space. Okay, so there's still plenty of room to the downside to be had here. So just bear that in mind. Now, when I zoom out on this daily chart, we can kind of see the overarching structure. Let me put this into logarithmic because that's the one that would make a lot more sense. Get rid of those stocks for a second. You can kind of see the structure of what I'm expecting to happen. It's going to be a giant 535 in my opinion. And I'm mainly focused on the 618 through to the 786. And it's going to be interesting. It can of course push up to those 1-to-1 ratios and all that. But it scares people when I talk about those numbers. But let's going to be conservative. Let's see these numbers get hit in first. I do think at least 543, potentially 1294, kind of within the 618 to 786 range on the Fibonacci retracement tools. Okay, this comes in from 22.28. So of course, depending on how low this goes, depends on how high it can go after. But it looks like a giant zigzag, 535 on the daily chart. Okay, so what we're looking for really is some really good accumulation points, and basically we're looking at that somewhere down here towards this 22-cent range. So for now it looks like we're just correcting, nothing too major. It's still possible that we do move up higher than the 43.13, which will create an invalidation on this structure that I've got mapped out. But otherwise, Cardano is in a pretty good position. We see a lot of adoption happening. We do see a lot of NFT projects, moving over to Cardano and launching on Cardano, and the existing ones are doing incredibly well with floor prices reaching all-time highs. So there's a lot of stuff going on the Cardano ecosystem, believe it or not. There's a lot of FUD out there, lots of noise that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But when you actually do your own research and come to your own conclusions, you will find that there's a lot going on the Cardano ecosystem. And a lot of institutional players are now looking at Cardano as potentially one to be really, really heavily invested in. And we've seen a lot of whales buying up on the Cardano side of things. So just bear these things in mind. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, lots of things going on with Cardano, and very exciting times ahead in my opinion. But I'm going to leave this video there. Just brief technical analysis on Cardano ADA, and looking like we're corrective, pulling down a little bit maybe. But we'll see how things kind of go over the weekend. If you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And with all that said, done out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.